Okay, this is my first recorded Magic Online draft. I thought it'd be interesting to record what I'm doing, to follow through my thought process and see if I can improve my game somewhat. So my first booster, I've got Wild Beastmaster. That's a bit, in my opinion, a bit useless for a drafting environment. We've got some quite good uncommons though. Lay of Skull Knight in particular is quite nice. August Bree, these two, wow, okay. I think at the moment there's going to be quite a lot of blue passed to my left or right. I don't know which direction it goes, so that might send him a signal that I'm not drafting blue, but not on the first booster or anything. But I think I'm just going to take. I think I'll take the Live Sky Knight, because that's both a very strong creature and it's a removal at least for a turn. Okay, Steam Vents, right, so I guess that means if we've got two uncommons, right, they took an uncommon, so they're not ready to draft a land yet, which makes sense. Azorius Keyrune, quite a strong combination with the Live Sky Knight. Quite like Rimboard Defences. I've both in my last two drafts. My first one I used that to great effect, and the second one my opponent used it to great effect against me. So that's a very strong card, and I doubt very much it'll table. However, I do need to be making tokens to make full use out of it. So as I don't know where I'm going yet, I think I'm just going to stick with. I'm going to take the Keyrune for now. Right, that was a good choice. Now I've got Soulsworn Spirit. That's another strong blue card. Hussar Patrol, great common, but doesn't compete with Soulsworn Spirit as a 4-drop. Trostani's Judgment, there's another option. Even without the Populate, this is just, in a draft environment, conditionless exile creature is just so strong. So I think we're going to have to go with the Spirit, because again, it's a Detain is essentially a 1-turn removal effect, and we've also got 2 unblockable, so very strong start. Okay, notice this guy isn't passing me any red, except for, well, that doesn't really count, and there's virtually no, well, there's no black at all as far as I can see, so that tells me Rakdos, or possibly Golgari but things, if he was Golgari, he's past the Bush Strider, which personally I think is quite strong for a draft environment, because it'll at least trade. And there's Stonefair Crocodile, so I think my opponent to the right is Rakdos, which is fine, because that means that I'm not getting any of the colours I don't want anyway. Well, it's not a very strong booster, not for our colours, so technically it's removal. Paralysing Grasp, even though it's not the strongest in the set, it's still removal. So it's just this here. That's great. I don't think there's anything else. Azorius Arrester, that's an option. Guess whichever one I want. It's likely we'll see more of those because it's in common, but it also ends up in most decks that use white because it's just so good, and you only need one white mana, that is. Whereas this is very much you must be playing white to use it. I think again I've got to choose that. It's the better deal in one package, so I'll go with that. Black, red, green, black, red, land. These two. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 Detain cards so far. Detain is a really strong mechanic in this environment. I think we're going to go for the Vassal Soul, because Inaction Injunction will table if nobody's playing a good blue deck, so whereas Vassal Soul is going to go in most decks, and it is very strong here. Right, this booster is totally useless. So in this sort of situation, what I like to do is counter draft, which means identify a strong card for somebody else's deck and take it so they can't use it. What I want to fight against? I don't want to play against. Right, I don't care about Vandal Blast. Land is obviously Survey the Wreckage. Axebane Stag is a vanilla 6/7. I don't think anybody ever plays. I've never seen it hit the table. I've never included it in the deck myself. Score End is too late, and I don't think anybody wants to commit 5 mana to that kind of effect. Blightning is just better. So Tenement Crasher. I think to kill Populate, I'll take Courser's Accord. It's the only way. It would have been the Shade, but Courser's Accord is more. It fits into more decks despite the double mana cost. A few options here. Skyline Predator is lovely. Really could be a game winner. Actually, I've had that used against me. 6 mana open is normally an indication that the opponent has run out of cards, so that's a real good. That's a nice little poker face move. Cancel, double blue, 3 mana, 2 strike. Yeah, Skyline Predator, I think. Another one. Wow. Okay. Don't care. So Cellar of Songbirds or Skyline Predator. Let's look at our cost at the moment. We've got quite a lot of high cost cards here. Now Cellar of Songbirds, I mean, we've got 2 strong drops, and 3 in fact, and 4 included. I don't really think that's going to make the cut. I think we've got 2 boosters to go. I think we'll go with the Predator because that's at least we don't get any good Azorius rare bombs. We've got these 2 at top end. A 3/4 flyer is really strong. Definitely difficult to deal with without specialist removal. Well, that looks like the Rootborn Defences from their first or second draw, was it? It's tempting to take it. I think I don't want to face that, so I'm going to take it a counter draft, and then if I do get any kind of white-based counter generation, at least it will synergise. Hussar Patrol, it's probably our pick. Tablet of Guilds, lots of life gain, but that's the thing about this card. I have used it and it is good, but it's too risky this early in the draft because I might not see anything else creature-wise that I need that is as good as Hussar Patrol. We've got 3 flash creatures. Okay, I guess downsize. I don't know. We're down to the dregs now. Bottom of the barrel. Shrieking Affliction. Okay, so let's hide black. Hide that. Right, second pack. Mercurial Chemistry. It's a bomb. We are in blue, quite heavily in blue actually. We could. It's very tempting to take this and splash red. It's gonna throw cards away as removal spells. It essentially turns cards into removal spells, and because it draws cards, it means you'll never lose cards advantage while this is on the table. A 2/3 on the ground for 5 mana though is a little bit prohibitive. For that turn, we're really slowing ourselves down. On the other hand, we've got a Guildgate for fixing. We've got a Rune Wing, which is always great. Inspiration is a little overcosted, but instant speed kind of makes up for it if you're having trouble. But that's planning for a failure we don't really want to run into. We want to be playing a card every turn. We'll take one of those if we see it later, if we feel we need it. The Azorius Charm, however, I better put that up there so everyone can see. We can get lifelink. We can draw a card, which is just to replace the thing, or we can bounce an attacker. So I think we're going to take this because that's just the most tempo oriented card, and it's quite strong. Look, there we go. There's the bomb we were looking for. Now, anybody who sees this card in a draft and you're heavily in blue, I really think you should take it. Despite the pointless ability that's useless, I mean, you're almost never going to have two non-land cards that you want to throw away, so it's a 5/6 flyer for 6 mana in a draft. Really strong. I think that's our pick. Let's just have a look. Knightly Valor. Had a lot of success with this card. It's a real pain if you're mana screwed and you're sitting there with this 5 mana enchantment, but it does allow, enchantments shouldn't be underestimated in a draft environment. Yes, they can be bounced. That is the creature that can be bounced and you lose it, but this one in particular generates a 2/2 with vigilance, so you don't lose all of its value, and there you lose. And if they cast a bounce spell. And on the positive side, it boosts your creature to meet a high toughness value or or whatever, or as a defense mechanism. I'm going to take the Sphinx though. Rest in peace, no use here. Fairy Imposter. Could be good. Is there anything coming to play effects? Now, this is good synergy. If we use this with, say, Soulsworn Spirit or just this year, Live Sky Knight, we could reuse our Detain, and we get a Bargainous 2/1 flyer into it. So that's a very strong card, I think, for draft. I don't think many people like it in a draft, but I do. I think it's very strong. You never see it. What else? There's no real bombs. We've got removal-wise, there's Detain there, which isn't really heavy removal. Nothing else in our colours worth taking. I think we've already got one Paralysing Grasp, but I wouldn't run two. It's too situational. Concordia of Pegasus is meh. I honestly struggled. I think you enchant it to flyer and then it gets removed anyway. I don't think that's useful. I think the Fairy Imposter it's going to be a lot of fun finding out if that works. I've never done this before, by the way. This is just something I've always thought about doing in a draft, but the colour's never been there. Okay, Chromatic Lantern. It's technically acceleration, but then so is a key rune. We don't care about fixing our mana or mistake. We're solidly in 2 colours, right? So we don't need to fix our mana anymore. So that ability is useless. And otherwise, all it does is generate an extra mana. But we've already got a key rune to do that at the same mana cost. So that's a useless card. On the other hand, Runewing, Crosstown Courier, it's a 2/1 for 2 mana. I'd rather have the 2/1 Detain guy. I'm not planning to mill people, that's not my win condition, so that's a weak card on that. As it goes, I could take Runewing, and that's how we maintain our card advantage. And if not, it's a 2/2 flyer. Right, now, second keyrune. This is quite a nice booster. We've got Security Blockade, that's a really strong card also. Gives us a 2/2 knight, works with Rootborn defences when we're populating. Armory Guard is lackluster. It works sometimes, but really, I'm going for Detain. It looks like I've got a lot of flyers, so I want to be taking the classic blue-white flyers lockdown approach, which means the key rune. Security Blockade is good. Tower Drake, I don't like it. 2/1, 2/3 mana, that's fine. But I've got Vassal Soul, that's better. I've got Live Sky Knight at 3 mana. I've got a choice. I think the key rune. It's got to be the key rune. Okay. I'm already regretting taking 2 key runes, but we'll see how it goes. Hover Barrier. It's an option. I think the Runewing is going to be the better one though. Search Warrant is life gain, but like Heroes Reunion, it doesn't really do anything. It tells you what your opponent is doing, but if you're sharp enough, then you'd normally expect things based on how much mana they've got untapped and the decisions they're making, which is usually enough in a draft. Other than that, it's getting you life, but it's not getting you much. Really, and because it's white blue, it's difficult to cast, so I don't think it's worth taking. Excuse me, a baby's crying in the background. I think we're going to go with the Runewing, another flyer. Wow. How did that make it here? Nobody is drafting Azorius. Okay. Skymark Rock. Okay, that's got a free unsummon built in for powers 2 or less, so that's strong against Rakdos for the most part anyway. Not so great against Golgari. Can get rid of Selesnya birds at a pinch. Other Azorius, obviously. Is it don't even use creatures, but in any case it's a 3/3 flyer. We're going to go with that. Syncopate, nice. And we've got Inaction Injunction. I still haven't taken one, but I keep seeing them fly around the table. Nobody wants these. But Syncopate. Now, I've never been able to pay the mana to get out of this, so that is a hard counter spell as far as I'm concerned, in my experience. And it exiles, which means that Scavenge is useless. So, but Inaction Injunction. I think Inaction Injunction. Looking at our curve, we need more 2-drops and third Runewing. Wow. Okay. Runewing. I could have taken a card that draws 2, or is a creature and draws 1. I think the creature is the better choice. Stealer of Secrets, great little 3-drop if they don't have anything down. In a game where they've had a bad start, that can seal their doom because you get really strong card advantage. Whereas if you don't do something early, if you're being slow and they're being slow, they might be able to build up to some gigantic threat or massive tokens. I'll take that. That's in the lower area of the... Okay, a second in action injunction. Well, I'm going to take the courier despite the fact I don't rate it. If we're struggling for 2 drops, then it's a power 2 at least. Right, Tower Drake, I suppose. Look at these search warrants flying around. Is that like the 4th one? Right, put that in there. Looking pretty good so far. It's funny, I watched a draft video. This guy, I'm forgetting his name. I might find out later and find out. But he was drafting, and he said he drafted Azorius, and he got a really good strong selection like this. So Deathrite Shaman is really good. I mean, really good. I'm not actually sure about a draft environment. I've never seen it in a draft before, but I've played it in standard, and it's so strong. However, it's not in our colours, and we have to be good and choose the cards that are. We've already got 2 key runes. I'm not using a 3rd. Swift Justice is great. People, that is removal. Look at that, and I know it's not direct removal, but it really is removal. Nobody ever expects this spell. Trostani's Judgment, whatever, is hard removal. It's 6 mana. It's a bit tricky. Stealer. Looking at my curve, we really do have to go for the lower cost spells. Already got 3 6-drops. I'm going to go with the Swift Justice. Okay. Now, Void Wielder's quite nice. It's got a bounce built in, but it's a 1/4. I've seen that break. You know, when you get that like to 5-6 arms race where people are starting to sort of, so one person will start to fall behind if they've not got the mana or whatever. I've seen some people use that to break that sort of situation where the other guy's able to play the big threat because he's got his land draws, and then you play Void Wielder because you were ready, because you had an answer. That's an unsummon. That's the way I see that. However, if we're winning, that's probably not what we want to draw unless we... because that can let us maintain tempo and keep the opponent from building an army, so either way, actually, Void Wielder is good. In Action Injunction, 3 of these, I could be flying through my deck just detaining everything the opponent has until I get a useful card. But that's not letting me play... I'll take the Void Wielder only because I've already got 2 in Action Injunctions. Wow, okay, well, that's already our pick instantly. I've not even looked at the deck, the pack, sorry. Guild Feud, no. Let's see, Dispel, it's way too situational. Rogue's Passage, we've already got loads of evasion in form of flying and unblockable, so no, we don't need that. Rootborn Defense, we've got one, and we're not using tokens, so I'm not going to get that. Knight of Valor, I love it, but New Prav Guildmage can detain every turn, so we're going to take him. Hello. I can't believe this. This is so strange. This is like... Why are people giving me all these cards? If I don't win this draft, then I quit. Right, Avenging Arrow, removal. But Soulsworn Spirit. Now that's going to be really strong against Rakdos. I think that will table. If nobody's playing Azorius and the Selesnya players don't want it, not entirely sure. I'm going to risk it. I think Soulsworn Spirit will be there. I've got so much detain that hard removal isn't really necessary. I've got 1 Void Wielder. What else? Follow the Gavel. Now, that, like Search Warrant,